Welcome to Penalty Box Radio, presented by Goldstone Financial Group. Goldstone Financial Group is an experienced team of professionals who will help ensure you receive distinguished service with a plan tailored to your retirement goals. I'm your host, Sean Smith. My co-host tonight, as always, Ann Kimmel, also of Penalty Box Radio. Very excited to have both of us here in the studio. It's been a minute since we were last on the air together.
I know. It feels like it's been, months.
A PBR month.
A PBR. It has been a PBR month, friends, since we have been together and collectively broken down what we're seeing from the Nashville Predators.
Wow, a lot's changed.
Or has it?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So, and I just want to say that now that we're both back here together, I just want to give a shout out to Anthony Pellegrino of Ice Insider, who's joined us both a few times and filled in for us as we've both been on special assignments for a few nights, and he's come in, done a great job. Really impressed with what he's doing, coming in and talking to us. Really, really good third voice to have sometimes. I think. So
it's been great having him here. Great.
And it doesn't say on the show notes to make nice.
You know what? Then you can just say the things. Just say whatever the things are. Get ready for the dump button, Brandon. But Sean is not making nice.
It's not that I'm not making nice. It's just it's not on there. So
it's not.
How have things been going?
All right. Yeah.
You don't need to take your finger off the dump button. We're going to be fine.
He's a little nervous because it doesn't say Ann has to make nice either. And we all know. Now I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good tonight. You're going to be proud of me, Brandon. Yeah. So, I know he's watching us. He is watching us.
A nervous producer.
Well, experienced with Penalty Box Radio, one would say. Yeah. So, of course, Sean, it's been a while since we've been together, but I know we always kick off the show with our puck drop topic. And
that's right.
A lot going on with the Nashville Predators right now. The win-loss record not trending in the direction you want. A lot of conversations going on. And so I'm going to kick it off with the puck drop topic because sometimes you are dodgy about answering. And so I'm going to put you on the hot seat first.
Okay.
With this.
You know what? I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So Predators Insider was just on ahead of us, got to listen to Adam Vinyan and Nick Kieser talking. They spent quite a bit of time talking about Andrew Brunette, maybe his potential coaching future here with the Nashville Predators. I would say among the fan base, kind of maybe a growing outcry about, is Andrew Brunette the right coach for this team? Here's our puck drop topic. If Andrew Brunette returns.
Okay. So we're not deciding whether or not he's returning. We're saying in the event he returns. If you listen to the last hour of Preds Insiders, then they feel pretty strongly that he'll be back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when either one, Andrew Brunette returns behind the bench for next season, what do you feel like are the expectations that will be there for Andrew Brunette next season? What are the expectations?
This is a good question.
Thank you.
And I think I like that we're building off of the last hour of radio. It's synergy is what we're doing. So here's what I'm going to say. Expectations. Okay, so Brunette's back. Mm-hmm. What has to happen? First and foremost, and they made this comment on Preds Insiders, Andrew Brunette has the fortunate situation of having a general manager who has been a coach for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I don't want to use the term long leash because I don't think it's a long leash. I think it's a GM who understands all of the things that go into coaching. If you are a GM and you've always been on the business side of things and maybe not as much coaching experience, there's a lot of looking at results on the ice and saying like, well, coach isn't coaching. Got to coach them better. And I think that Trotz knows that's not always the case. As a coach, there are a lot of things beyond your control, a lot of things that you can't help. Now, a lot of things you can, but there are also a lot of things you can. And so I think the biggest thing is while he's going to have a longer leash in this situation with next season saying, okay, look, it was a year to grow on, right? Take the adversity, learn the lessons and move on. I think there's going to be an expectation that the results start speaking for themselves very quickly. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that necessarily means that we're looking at, you've got a window, maybe the first quarter of the season, the first 20 games to show that things are going in the right direction. And if not, they're going to make a change then. But I feel like the expectation will be for success. And I don't mean not in the bottom four. I mean, you're in contention for a playoff spot for most of the season, especially toward the end.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the bar for success with Brunette next season. What about you, Ann?
I think so much about what the expectations are with Andrew Brunette. I think a lot of that is going to start in the off season. And I think one of the expectations is that Andrew Brunette has to make sure that everybody gets the vision and everybody has bought into the vision. And by saying that, I am not implying that they don't now.
Right.
I'm certainly not implying that, but I really think there has to be a very clear, laid out expectation individually and collectively in that locker room that comes from Andrew Brunette. And, the Predators added some new pieces in the offseason. And, big pieces, Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, Brady Skjei.
Big pieces.
Big, huge. And, I think Barry Trotz mentioned something on the radio this week when he was talking with Jared Stillman. He talked about those players are going to have closure after this season. Now that's a whole nother puck drop topic. That's a whole nother puck drop topic. Good thing we have a show next week. Maybe we'll pencil that one in.
Okay. Let me write that down.
Write that down. But I do think that everybody has to be bought in, and that will be the expectation for Andrew Brunette. Get that clear vision and get them brought in and bought in so that and again, not implying that hasn't happened, but you haven't seen the results of it. Interestingly, in talking with some of the players, some of the veteran players about this season, one of the questions that I've asked is, can you say for sure these are the things? Can you list, not for me? I promised them no follow-up question when I asked this.
Fair.
I said, I'm not going to ask you the follow-up question, but do you know what went into this going off the rails like it did? And there are veterans in that room that said yes and no.
Oh.
There are some things that I'm not sure what happened, individually and collectively. So I think there's a lot of off-season work that has to happen, but I do think that Andrew Brunette, that whole locker room has to be able to recite the mantra and buy into the program. And again, not implying that they haven't this year, but I think that is absolutely critical. They've got to be excited about it. They've got to believe this is going to work. And this past season, it's a little bit of a tough sell, but they've got to believe that this can work.
So you need basically the Ted Lasso believe sign just slapped up on the wall. Fixes everything.
Nick Blankenburg loves Ted Lasso. So I mean, look, if it works for Nick Blankenburg,
hey,
works for me.
Why not?
Great show.
Okay.
Great show.
I like your answer. There's games left this season.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
The season is not over. And I know we're talking like it's over because we're talking about coaching decisions for next year and what happens next year. And the main reason for that is because the Preds have been eliminated from the playoffs.
Right.
But the Preds have a few games left. What do we need to see out of these games? And I don't mean what's the win-loss record supposed to look like? It's almost irrelevant at this point. What do we need to see out of these games? You've got ostensibly people planning on tuning in and watching. What should they be watching for?
Great question. I think the word that we're hearing a lot from Andrew Brunette is effort.
Okay.
And I agree with you. I think we've got to set aside the win-loss record, sadly, because it's irrelevant at this point. The only thing the win-loss record is going to change is draft lottery odds, and that's not hugely exponential for the Predators in these last games. But I do think it's about effort. The other word I would say is chemistry.
Okay.
And this has been tricky with, kind of the line switches that have gone on, and then you have just such a massive amount of injuries. But is there chemistry? Can you find, and by can you, I mean, can fans, can viewers watch a game and say there are two players who are playing really well together? And I'm thinking of Luke Evangelista, Philip Forsberg, Ryan O'Reilly. We've seen some good chemistry there. Can that continue? Is that going to be enough? Is that going to be believable? Will that carry over?
That goes back to belief. I don't there's a word you use there.
Okay.
That you said that Brunette talked about effort.
Yes.
I don't like that. I don't like that that's a thing that we need to look for.
I think that's fair.
I'd have to say that if you were saying as a coach that you want to see effort from your team and you're the coach of an NHL team, let's just say this is the best hockey league in the world.
Mhm.
There's 32 teams, you're one of them. Maybe right now you're in the bottom, but those players are still NHL players. There shouldn't be a need to see effort. Effort should be there. And that's where I'm kind of having a little bit of a disconnect. I feel like that shouldn't be a problem.
Do you feel like it has been?
Personally,
Yeah.
at times.
Really?
Sometimes
Okay.
it just looks like they're checked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch a lot of youth hockey. Sometimes they look checked out. I mean, it's a thing you can see. It's like,
Yeah.
well, we're getting stomped into the ground here. Like, let's not make it obvious, but goodness gracious, we're not coming back from this one. And then
Mhm.
again, we're talking youth hockey. That could be, 12-1, 13-1.
Mhm.
That's a little more painful than say, 5-2, which I mean, it doesn't
Or 8
happen.
to 4.
Well, yeah, we didn't have to
Started
go
out
there.
there.
But no, I don't know that necessarily that, the Preds are just checking out like completely, but you've seen some efforts where it's like, yeah, you can tell they're just trying to get through this one. And I'm not going to say I blame them either, but it's if that's your goal is to see effort over the next few games, that's concerning to me.
I wonder if that look I wouldn't rule out what you're saying. I also think there is an element, and I think it looks the same, at least it does, with teenagers of like, is it effort or is it they are just dumbfounded?
Yeah.
Like, what the
Yeah.
flag knock has happened here? That's not a word. You don't need
You
to. It's good.
you
I
got
got the
producer
thumbs up.
Brandon's attention
Yeah.
on that one.
But, I do wonder if there is not just an element of shock.
Oh, he looked again. He looked again. You're really working that one out there.
Sorry.
Look, Brandon, in the future, we'll be a little more careful about our word choice. But if planning for your future is complicated, it doesn't have to be. At Goldstone Financial Group, they help you create a personalized financial plan to secure your retirement. Whether you're thinking about your 401k, IRA, or just want to invest smart, they've got you covered. Just like the Nashville Predators strategize for every game, Goldstone Financial strategizes for your financial success. Visit goldstonefinancialgroup.com today and start planning for tomorrow. And if you're looking for a great place to catch the Preds game tomorrow, I'd send you to Beyond the Edge in East Nashville. But you don't just have to take my word for it. Beyond the Edge has been voted the best sports bar for the second year in a row in the Scene Nashville Readers Poll. With more than 30 TVs and 25 beers on tap, you'll never miss any of the action. They've got great food, great drinks, and the perfect spot to watch the game. Visit them at 112 South 11th Street in East Nashville or online at beyondtheedge.net. Make Beyond the Edge your go-to for every big game. Welcome back to Penalty Box Radio. You're looking for your next night out? Stars and Strikes in Smyrna has something for everyone. Whether you're into bowling, laser tag, axe throwing, or their newly expanded arcade, the fun never stops. Plus, their full menu and bar make it the perfect spot for group events and birthday parties. Oh, and it's also a great place to catch the Predators game while you're there. Check them out at starsandstrikes.com. Green Ventures Landscaping transforms your outdoor dream into reality. Their family-owned team specializes in patio design, pool decks, retaining walls, and more. They create stunning landscapes that last with personalized service and expert craftsmanship. From irrigation to maintenance, they'll ensure your garden thrives, providing a space that's both functional and beautiful. Visit them at greenventureslandscaping.com today for a free quote. Let Green Ventures Landscaping cultivate your perfect outdoor sanctuary today. And we're back.
We are back.
Back from break. Very, very excited. We have a very, very cool opportunity here.
Cool is the operative
Yeah,
word.
Cool is
The operative word. Like, know when you're not going to be the coolest person on the phone call, and that's going to be you and I tonight.
Yeah. Well, that's usually me anyway. So coming up here in a minute or so, we're going to be joined by Ozzy Weisblatt.
Love that. Ozzy Weisblatt. This is one of the, we've talked about this. It's been a challenging Predator season. One of the bright spots have been some of these players that we have been introduced to.
Yes.
And I would say a very quick fan favorite has become Ozzy Weisblatt. This is somebody who made a great splash. Great impression with Barry Trotz with Andrew Brunette in training camp, really lingered for quite a long time, and then made his NHL debut with the Nashville Predators this season. This is somebody that they are keeping a very close eye on as they're looking ahead to roster construction as well. So very excited that we get to chat with Ozzy.
Okay, and I believe we are now joined by Ozzy Weisblatt, forward for the Milwaukee Admirals, and has spent a few games up in Nashville with the Predators. Ozzy, how you doing?
I'm awesome, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us, Ozzy, and appreciate you being flexible with the severe weather going on down here. We're moving times. So thanks for jumping in with us. Got some questions for you. First of all, have really enjoyed getting to know you being introduced to the Nashville Predators fan base. But I want to go back a couple of years because you are one of those COVID draft year guys. And, when the 2020 year, your WHL team was in a great position looking ahead to the postseason, that got canceled. The draft was kind of an at-home experience. So can you tell us what was draft night like for you after kind of that odd end to your WHL season? And did you get drafted sort of where you anticipated? How did that all go down for you?
Yeah. Obviously it was a dream come true, just like anybody that got drafted. It's a special moment for everybody and their family, and especially for mine. It's something that, my brothers could kind of live through, and they're all hockey players as well, and just as special for them as it was for me and as me. And I think I had an idea of where I was going to go, but I think I definitely had the mentality of, whether I go first round or I go undrafted, I'm still going to, work as hard as I can every day and, come and bring it and earn it, really. So definitely have that mindset and still do.
That's something that we see when you are on the ice for sure. Ozzy, when as a young hockey player did you decide that the NHL was the goal? When did you dream of that, and when did you think, hey, this could be a reality for me?
Yeah, I think always. Obviously I have two older brothers that played hockey, so I was always out around the rinks, ever since I can remember. So I've always been around the game, and I love it so much. And I think it was just something that I was always going to do. So, yeah.
Ozzy, you mentioned your brothers. Now I've got a young hockey player at home, and he doesn't shy away from the physical side of the game. And that's something I've noticed you aren't afraid of either. Do you think that comes from growing up with a house full of boys, or what's kind of led you to really be a guy who's willing to lean into the physical side of hockey?
Yeah, I mean, probably, but I think for me, it's just a mentality. Everybody has the choice to work hard at the end of the day. It's, whether you're going to take the extra 2 steps to make a back check or, bear down on a guy and, just because you're smaller than most guys, I mean, you can't play big. That's just something I try to do every day.
You made your NHL debut, of course, with the Nashville Predators here. What was that experience like for you? Do you feel like you were able to really take it in and focus on the hockey? How much of that was just enjoying that moment?
Yeah, it was super special. And I think, a couple of years ago, was going through some tough things and, to get out of it and make my debut this year is just, a sense of relief and a sense of, my hard work's paying off. It was just amazing for my family and, just to see them and go through it with them. And, the Predators organization did a great job of, making sure they were taken care of and making sure everything ran smoothly. And can't thank them enough for that.
Well, the Nashville Predators have certainly been impressed with your performances here in Nashville. Also, your hard work in Milwaukee. One of the things that maybe Predators fans forget is that what happens in Nashville affects Milwaukee. And this Milwaukee Admirals roster, you all have had a lot of turnover. You've brought some guys in. What has been the key to the Admirals team continuing to find success, even with all of the adjustments and changes that the roster has gone through?
Yeah. You talk about culture and, it starts with, your coach and Carl Taylor's been absolutely amazing to everybody. He expects your best every night and, wants us to play with a certain kind of edge. And, he's been amazing. And it's just the people that they bring into this organization, a lot of hard workers, a lot of people that, want to get to the next level. So I think everybody does a great job of feeding off each other and, push each other in practice and things like that. And, it's a really special organization to be in. Yeah.
One of the hard workers, when I think of Milwaukee, I think of Cal O'Reilly. What's it been like to be in a locker room with somebody who's got 1,000 AHL games under his belt, holding those records? What are you learning from him as a veteran there?
Yeah. You learn so many different things, whether it's on or off the ice. The way he takes care of his body, the way he prepares for games and practices. He's always doing the extra things. One of the last guys to leave the rink any given day. And, off the ice, he's, an amazing father and, just to see how he is and how nice of a person he is. It's really amazing to see. And, hopefully one day I can be that kind of guy for younger guys.
That's great. All right, Ozzy, we've talked to you a little bit about hockey. We could talk to you all hour about it, but we're not going to do that. Can we ask you just 5 quick fun questions with Ozzy Weisblatt? They're going to be quick, easy, painless.
I hope.
Yeah,
I hope they'll
sure.
be easy
We
and
hope.
painless.
All right,
Some
do you
of
wanna
them
ask
could be
the-
controversial.
You ask the first one. This
Okay.
one's yours.
All right, Ozzy. Everybody always come on. We ask about a favorite song, and it's always whatever is of the moment. But who's your favorite band? The band you find yourself going back to over and over again?
I love the Lumineers, but I also love Chris Stapleton. So I'm kind of torn in between those kind of genres.
Big Stapleton guy over here
I
on
like
this side of
that.
the studio.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that.
All right. Give us your best movie or TV show recommendation, Ozzy. What should we be watching?
Favorite movie is Good Will Hunting.
Oh,
for sure.
Solid.
good call. Good call.
Yeah.
All right. Admins. Kimberly always seems to be challenging the Admirals with riddles. How good are you at riddles? How's your riddle game?
Absolutely horrible. Horrible.
Some of them
I don't
are
think
really
I've ever gotten
difficult.
one right. Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten one right.
All right. All right. Those are hard. Look, we are hoping to get up to Milwaukee to cover some postseason action up there. So
Yes.
give us your best food recommendation in Milwaukee? Where do we need to go eat when we're there?
Ooh, I really like sushi. So, I mean, I usually go by Screaming Tuna.
Okay.
It's right on the water, too. It's nice scenery, good food. So,
Okay.
go
Yeah.
there.
All right. Sean can have the
I lo-
sushi, but I'll
yes.
enjoy the scenery.
Sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
All right. Last question. Now, I know that one of your brothers could not make your NHL debut because he was playing for Medicine Hat. Is there anybody
Yeah.
else that you wish could have been at that NHL debut, but they weren't there to see it?
No, I really made sure I had, people that have been in my corner since, day one, and that have really helped my family, and they were all able to make it, and, they weren't going to miss that for the world. So, definitely had everybody that needed to be there.
That's great. Ozzy, I want to thank you again so much for jumping in and being flexible with us. Thanks so much for sharing a little bit about your story. We are very excited to see what the Admirals do the rest of
Yes.
this season and the postseason, and to cover that. And we are excited about your future with the Predators as well. Thanks so much, Ozzy.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for having me. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Awesome.
All right. That was Ozzy Weisblatt, currently a forward with the Milwaukee Admirals, has done some time here in Nashville with the Predators, and we're going to go to break. Welcome back to Penalty Box Radio on 102.5 The Game. Stars and Strikes in Smyrna has everything you need for a fun-filled outing. Bowling, laser tag, axe throwing, and their huge new arcade. With a full menu and bar, it's also the perfect place to host birthday parties or group events. And if you're a Preds fan, you can catch the game while enjoying great food and drinks. Visit starsandstrikes.com and start planning your next adventure. Hey, Knoxville, if you're ready to take your hockey game to the next level, then Frostletics Hockey is for you. Frostletics is East Tennessee's up-and-coming youth ice hockey organization, offering top-notch training, competitive play, and a family atmosphere. Whether you're a beginner or looking to sharpen your skills, Frostletics has the perfect program for you. Frostletics' passionate coaches help young athletes build confidence, develop skills, and, most importantly, have fun. Their spring and summer programming starts in April and runs through the end of July. Be sure to follow Frostletics Hockey on social media for skill drills, player spotlights, and programming updates. For more information on our programs, please visit frostletics.com and speak with one of our experienced coaches. Get an edge on the competition and stay frosty with Frostletics. And
Sean.
how nice to talk to Ozzy Weisblatt.
Oh, that was great. This is a player I think Nashville Predators fans just keep your ear out for, keep your eye
Absolutely.
out for.
And how about those music recommendations? Is that he likes the Lumineers and Chris Stapleton, and I like the diversity there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, I had a conversation with Roman Yossi over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I asked him if being the captain meant that he got to control the playlist in the locker room, and he told me no. A resoundingly fast no.
Really?
He said that who do you think controls the stereo in the locker room? He named two guys.
Oh,
Who do you
my
think it was?
goodness. Cole Smith?
Nope.
Dang.
No. It's you got another guess?
Jonathan Marchessault.
No.
Oh, I am bad at this game.
It is Colton Sissons
Oh,
and
yeah.
Michael McCarron.
McCarron was on my short
And
list.
he says they do a really good job of playing stuff for everybody, that it's a pretty diverse playlist. He said there's always somebody upset though. And I said, if you as a captain made a request for a song, would you get it played? And he said, most likely, but he's never really done that. So I wonder if Ozzy would be a good one to take
I
over
would love
and say, like, let's get some young blood on this DJ spot in the locker room.
I would love, just off of those two recommendations by Ozzy, I would love to get my hands on his Spotify playlist because I bet it is varied and fabulous.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, something to think about next time we talk to him. Speaking of young players,
okay,
can I just bring up one other young player that I'm really excited about that we are going to get to see in some really exciting postseason action?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a shout out to Aiden Fink, or as I like to call him, Mr. Poyle's Opus. Mr. Poyle's
Explain that, just because I think to me, this is one of the more interesting stories of the Nashville draft is Aiden Fink. So
Aiden Fink. So David Poile, in his last draft, which happened here in 2023 in Nashville, Tom Fitzgerald, who was the GM of the New Jersey Devils, traded a 7th round pick to the Predators so that David Poile could make one final draft pick before he stepped down from being the general manager.
The sole intention of this happening was because David Poile was like, I want this to be the last pick I ever make because maybe this kid will turn into something good.
Friends.
And if I recall, this wasn't like we're trading up because we want Aiden Fink. It was like we'll just take somebody who's there who looks pretty good.
Yeah, he looked at his list and he called out Aiden Fink. And you all remember that name because Aiden Fink plays for Penn State, which, if you have listened to Penalty Box Radio, y'all know I'm a Pennsylvania girl. I am decked out in my Saquon Barkley Penn State jersey because I don't have
nothing wrong with that.
Don't have my Aiden Fink hockey jersey yet, but I'm working on that.
Okay.
Playing for Penn State. This is a D1 program, just about 10 years old, and they have made it to the finals of the Frozen Four. University of Denver, Western Michigan also making their inaugural visit to the Frozen Four. Boston University and Aiden Fink and Penn State, friends. Now, that alone is not enough. Aiden Fink is one of the top 10 finalists for the Hobie Baker Memorial Award. He has been incredible as a sophomore on this Penn State team. It has been an uphill battle for Penn State. They could not win a Big Ten game. I think they lost their first Big Ten, like 9 Big Ten games. And it was one of those where like, this isn't the season. But Penn State, under the head coach of Guy Gadowski, just such a good culture. You know, Ozzy mentioned culture, great culture in Penn State. And they just decided we're just going to work hard and see what happens. good things are happening for Aiden Fink and for the Penn State men's hockey team. So I just wanted to shout that out. Great season for him as a sophomore. We'll see him at Dev Camp, I imagine, again. But let's go
I
Penn
assume
State.
that's pretty exciting, and I do enjoy. First off, I'm really happy for him,
Yes.
but I like that this was kind of like, as you said, Mr. Poyle's opus,
Yes.
and it's paying off.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. Now I want to shift topics, and I don't know if you've heard about this. I don't know if you're aware. I don't know if many people. I don't know if there's a lot of buzz out there about this or not. This may be new information to you and everyone else out there. But have you heard of this Alex Ovechkin guy?
Yeah, he's somebody's opus. Yeah, somebody did a good job picking that one. Goodness.
Have you heard of Alex Ovechkin? As everyone is probably aware, Ovechkin has been on the heels of Wayne Gretzky's career goals scoring record. And as we speak, at this very moment, he's at 891 career goals.
As one is.
Yeah, and which means he is
Crazy
3
good.
behind Wayne Gretzky, and only needs 4 to break and set the new record. Is he going to do it?
I do think he is. And
Oh.
let me tell you why. I know we're winding down to the end of the season, but if you look at Washington's their remaining games, they play Columbus twice. Columbus is 22nd in the league when it comes to goals against per game. Nashville just put up 4 goals against them, so I feel really good for Alex Ovechkin that he's going to. They also play the Islanders, who are 19th in goals against. Pittsburgh 30th in goals against. So he is going up against some teams that are struggling defensively.
Okay.
And I think his teammates want him to get it too. So if there's an empty netter, pass the puck to Alex Ovechkin. How do you feel about him breaking this record? Does it bother you?
No. Why would it bother me?
I don't know. Some people I think there are some records that are hard for some people to see broken. I just was curious if it bothers you that Wayne Gretzky won't hold this record.
No, I don't think so. I'll say this too, is that it's one of those situations where, and we've got this stat on here. I think it's important to read that Ovechkin is playing in his 1,485th game tonight, correct?
Mm-hmm, correct.
Gretzky, I mean, they're right on par. It's not like this has taken Ovechkin 500 more games to do. It's one of those things where if you just keep playing long enough, it's going to happen. It's the fact that Ovechkin's been able to maintain just prolific scoring throughout his career at a rate that, to me, this is who you'd want to break it. It's not someone who's, again, hanging out for years and years, hoping to just score a few more goals to push it over the line. But he's doing this at a consistent rate, at the same level that Gretzky was. So I think if you have to have a goal like that, or a record like that get broken, let it be broken by someone who's doing it in the same amount of time. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
Interesting. I like what you're saying about the fact that he is consistently a prolific goal scorer. And I think this is his 20th season, maybe somewhere around there, for forever and a day. But 13 of his seasons, he has been a 40+ goal scorer, friends.
You think about that. I mean, how many 40-goal seasons has any player had for the Preds?
Yeah.
Was it 3? Was it 3?
Yeah.
Because
it just happened within the last couple of seasons to get somebody there. So yeah,
Forsberg twice, Duchesne once. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, but here's one person with 13 of them. I mean, that tells you
that's just
that
incredible. And I love that Washington is doing really well, because this is one of those teams where you thought, I don't know, Washington, the team is going to limp to the finish, but maybe Ovechkin will get this. They are competing. I mean, they're competing. They're in the race for the President's Trophy. I mean, they've got it going on.
I think you look at records and you think well, I know, and we don't have a lot of time to talk about this, but I know, watching Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa battle it out for the single season home run record was exciting for me. I don't know how people felt about that, if people were upset about it. Now at the time we didn't know about the juice. That wasn't planned.
No, it wasn't, but we all know about it now.
We all know about the juice. But at the time, as someone who grew up an Oakland A's and Mark McGuire fan, I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. So you're never going to convince me that didn't need to happen. So maybe there's some Wayne Gretzky heads out there who are like, no, this can never be broken. But sorry, folks. It's gonna happen.
I hate it. I'm going to be very honest with
Oh.
you. I was brokenhearted. No exaggeration. I was brokenhearted when Emmett Smith broke the career rushing record from Walter Payton, because Walter Payton is the single reason why I love sports.
Sweetness
Watching
himself.
Sweetness do things that no human being
Yeah.
should be able to do. So I was devastated about that, but I've moved on.
Well, to break any record, it takes commitment. And just like the Nashville Predators are committed to winning on the ice, Goldstone Financial Group is committed to helping you win with your retirement planning. From tax strategies to investment advice, they make sure you're prepared for whatever comes next. Don't leave your financial future up to chance. Trust the experts at Goldstone Financial Group. Check them out at goldstonefinancialgroup.com and set yourself up for success. Welcome back to Penalty Box Radio on 102.5 The Game. Beyond the Edge Sports Bar in East Nashville has just been voted best sports bar in the Scene Nashville's Readers Poll. So if you're looking for the best spot to catch every Preds game, head over to Beyond the Edge. With over 30 TVs and 25 beers on tap, you'll never miss a moment. It's the perfect place to relax with friends, grab some great food, and watch your favorite teams. Visit them at 112 South 11th Street in East Nashville, or check them out online at beyondtheedge.net. Beyond the Edge, where every seat is the best seat in the house. And it really is. Tons of TVs in there.
I love that.
There's nowhere you can sit where you can't see what you want to see on TV. I love it.
That's great. Great food. All those beers on tap and TV. Win.
It's a good time. And look, it's not just me, right? The Scene Nashville's Readers Poll
everybody knows.
Universally
Everybody
acclaimed.
knows.
Welcome back. This is the part of the show where we do predictions. And it's been interesting because we've both been in and out. We've got some exciting games coming up this week, this PBR week. We've got the game against the Dallas Stars on tomorrow.
Yes.
In Dallas.
Yep.
We've also got the Canadians at home on Sunday, and then the Islanders at home on Tuesday. Could be a pretty interesting week. I'm curious to see what our predictions are.
I know.
With all these cool games coming up. But of course, last week there were some predictions.
There were some predictions. Yes. If I recall correctly, I won the prediction pick. Brandon picked my prediction.
Okay, so your prediction, you predicted correctly. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Brandon believed my prediction.
Okay, so you won the
sold
prediction.
A good
Okay,
prediction.
you sold the
My
prediction.
prediction last week was that Philip Forsberg was going to have a goal and 2 assists.
Okay.
In this PBR week, he only had 1 goal and 1 assist. So I missed.
You were close.
I was off by an assist. Anthony was on last week, and he predicted that the Preds were going to build off of their win against Carolina. They were going to beat St. Louis, lose to Vegas, lose to the Flyers, but win over Columbus. And unfortunately, Preds, 4 losses last PBR. It was a tough PBR week.
It was a tough PBR week. Of course, PBR weeks are the weeks between shows. So Wednesday to Wednesday. We don't want to say a week because people get, is that Sunday to Saturday, Monday through Sunday? No, a PBR week is show to show.
Wednesday.
Obviously, the way the calendar was intended. So
yes, Romans messed it up.
Come on.
Get it together. Yeah. So we're going to do predictions. This is so anxiety. I'm filled with anxiety during this segment. I'm not going to lie to you.
Why?
I am not a competitive person at all until I am. And then I'm feral. And this is I want to win. I want to win this.
I don't know. I'm not that competitive, I guess, because I only enjoy winning in situations like this because it sometimes feels good to see the other person lose.
First winner, first loser. Yeah.
Is that wrong? Does that make me competitive?
I think a little bit.
I think
if you want to see somebody lose, I don't know. That's a great question. You look at professional athletes. Do you love to win or do you hate to lose more? And which makes a better athlete? There's a question for us next time
that's a good question to ask.
Yeah.
That's quality. Well, we've got to make new predictions, Ian.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
I'm going to let you go first.
You let me go first.
Yes.
Okay. So I put a lot of thought into my prediction, not realizing I was going to go up against the master here in the predictions, but
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So this is my prediction, and let me lay out my thoroughly thought out prediction.
Okay.
One of the bright spots with the Nashville Predators recently has been the performance of Fedor Svechkov.
Okay, I agree with that.
Svech, I think, growth is not linear in life, in hockey, but I think what we've seen from Svech has just been the right trajectory of growth.
Okay.
And so that's been very encouraging. Looking for encouragement, people. I think Fedor Svechkov has been that guy. This is the guy I see consistently trending upward. Not that he hasn't made mistakes, but I really like where he's headed. With Colton Sissons out, which that was just horrific. No,
don't like that.
No need to see that in slow motion again.
No.
And not spend a day in medical school, but pretty sure that was a significant injury for Colton Sissons. That was rough.
It looked bad.
But back to Fedor Svechkov, my prediction is that he's going to get some more time. He's going to get some more opportunities. I think Fedor Svechkov, I'm going back to my numbers, Brandon. I'm going goal and 2 assists this PBR week for Fedor Svechkov. I think his opportunity, and you hate to see, look, I don't want to see Colton Sissons injured. Let me be very clear. But I think Fedor Svechkov, there's an opportunity here. I'm going goal, 2 assists, Fedor Svechkov. I'm locking it in.
So not just are you picking one specific player, but you've got specific stats.
Yeah, I told you I'm feral. I'm very competitive.
I look when
locked in.
Anthony was here, I cautioned him, like, don't get too specific. Don't get too
You
specific.
think that's too much? I know, but it's not measurable to say. I think it's a tough measure to say Fedor Svechkov's going to have a good PBR week. I'm gonna give you more to work with than that, Brandon.
Already trying to sell it. Okay, well, all right. So here's what I'll say. And look, I agree. I think Svechkov's going to get more time, and I do like the trajectory, and that doesn't, like, you say a goal and 2 assists. Is that right?
I do.
Yeah, I don't think that's a stretch. I mean, that's assuming he's involved in 3 goals, and I think that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
All right. So I'll tell to truly understand my prediction for this week, I will have to give a little bit of background information.
Great.
As you know, we are on, not by we, I mean me and my family, we're on spring break. My wife and I are both teachers, so we're on spring break this week, and my wife and daughter are currently in France.
Where I should be hanging out with them.
They're in France. Well, I'm sorry, we ran out of money for plane tickets, so only 2 of them got to go.
Okay.
So it's just the boy and I at home.
Mhm.
We're just it's bachelor time, and so
Oh,
we
heavens.
decided that what better way to spend a week with a 10-year-old than by watching all of the Rocky movies.
Good for you. Okay, I just did that.
Okay, well,
You're
there's
starting him
nothing
young.
wrong
Good
with
for
that.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up watching it. Now, granted, I wasn't old enough to see the originals in the theater, but I'm pretty sure 3 and 4, saw those. Rocky 4, one of my favorite movies of all time. But my prediction this week for this PBR week comes from Rocky 3. And there is a specific scene I'm going to use, and I'm going to have it recreated by
I love this.
by my son, our favorite, well, previously 10U, now 11U hockey player, number 49, defender for the Music City Marauders, Kalen Smith.
Let's
He's going
go.
to come over, and he is going to make my prediction for this PBR week. And this is just going to be a quick delivery of a scene from Mr. T as Clubber Lang. So if you'll come
Oh,
on
this
over.
is going to
Yeah.
be amazing.
So, Kaylin, what's your prediction for this PBR week?
Pain.
All right, and that's it. That's my
Okay,
prediction.
now wait a second. I go back to it. It needs to be measurable.
Pain is
Measurable.
definitely measurable. There's a scale, and you
Yes,
can
but
point
what if
to
I
it,
have
and
a
there's a
higher
really
pain
sad face.
tolerance than you? So our pains are not equal. Pains are not equal.
I feel
Don't
like
be fooled. Although great, I was a theater major. Great acting. That was
I
actually great.
don't feel the need to qualify or justify this at all. That's my prediction.
So you're
is
not going to
pain.
say pain for whom?
Just said pain.
For whom or who?
Just pain.
You're an English teacher.
Pain.
Just pain.
Just pain. Doubling down on the pain. So, we're going to turn it over to producer Brandon, who's got a tall order ahead of him.
Doesn't he though?
I think I do actually.
I know.
It's a hard decision, but I think this week we're gonna go with pain.
I knew
Yes!
it. Oh.
Okay. That's what you do. You call on the big guns when you need them, right?
All right. Just so you know, Brandon, I will be texting when Fedor Svechkov scores his goal and
I
2
think-
assists.
I
Would be
think
blowing up your phone.
I'll be waiting.
Blowing
waiting.
up your
Whoa.
phone.
I think the thing you have to remember here, and let's be very, like, we've always said this about predictions since we've shifted to predictions, is that both of these things can happen. And I don't see any world where both of these things, it couldn't happen. I mean,
Yeah.
you can have Svechkov score a goal and 2 assists. There can
Mhm.
also be a lot of pain.
For whom?
Well, the Preds scored 4 goals against the Blue Jackets. Was there pain? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So do you see where I'm saying that there will be pain?
Yeah.
Pain is possible.
Pain is likely.
Okay. Well, anyway, producer Brandon, thank you for your vote there. I appreciate that. I think you made a wise choice. Sometimes people get too specific over in this chair. Doesn't matter if it's Ann or Anthony.
I hope
Their
it's
name-
a PBR week of
their-
sunshine and unicorns and rainbows, and we come back and we're like, everything.
If their
was
name
amazing.
starts with the letters A and N, they get too specific. That's my determination. That's what I'm going to say. So thanks for listening to Penalty Box Radio on 102.5 The Game, presented by Goldstone Financial Group. If you want smart investing with a company with a proven track record of fiduciary responsibility, look no further than Goldstone Financial Group. Also, thanks to Stars and Strikes of Smyrna, Beyond the Edge of East Nashville, Green Ventures Landscaping, and Frostletics. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for listening.